Over the course of the 12 years which Minecraft has been out, there has been many different biomes added to the game. Some of them are rare, others strange, and some you might not have even heard of before. But what is the rarest? One that only has a 1 in a million chance of naturally generating in your Minecraft world. That would be the modified jungle edge biome. This biome has got to be one of the most beautiful biomes, however can be quite difficult to progress as there are no villages nor jungle temples to be found in this biome, like you would in many others. But is it possible to survive in this strange biome? Well, if you're seeing this video, it probably means I do. Anyway, let's find out how difficult it is, so without any further ado, let's begin the video. But before we begin the video, not many of you are subscribed to my channel, so why not just do it? It takes 5 seconds and you can always unsubscribe later. Anyway, enjoy the video. Okay, so I'm going to be surviving 50 days in the rarest biome of Minecraft, and here are some of the things that I want to get done in this time. I want to go to the Nether, get full diamond armor and tools, find a zombie villager if that's possible, because there's no villagers, so I'm not sure. Build a house, find a Nether fortress, get a single netherite ingot, and kill the Ender Dragon. Okay, so let's begin the 50 days. So I started off by making a biome, a modified jungle biome, and then created the world. Once loaded in, I took a minute to just look around and see my surroundings, and just look at this biome. It's absolutely amazing, with the mountains, the jungle trees. It just looks amazing, absolutely wonderful. Wow, this clip lasts a long time, a very long time. But yeah, this biome is absolutely amazing. So I started off on day 0 by grabbing some oak logs, followed up by making some tools, as you can see here, after I grabbed some sticks. And then broke the crafting bench and headed out to get a lot more wood, which I was going to need. After that, I went around, got some food because I knew this would be really important later on, and then began looking for a cave, mined some coal, and entered the Stone Age with a stone pickaxe. It was finally progressing quite quickly, and I started off by getting some more food and just checking the area for some caves, grabbed some more food, and looked around. I ended up finding iron on the first day, which was amazing as it meant I could progress a lot further. So I grabbed a bunch of that, and then I fell, which was my first shock of this world, which there are plenty of them. And then I've just faced my first mob as well, which was a skeleton, which wasn't too hard, so I just dealt with him. After this, I healed back up, looked around the cave, and there was tons of mobs, so I knew I'd had to get to safety. So I made a small area with a furnace, and then made a small little area so I could sleep for the night and make it through to the next day. I spent a lot of day 1 just going around and collecting my iron. I made a shield and eventually some tools and armour.
Eventually,
I then had enough iron to go around and make the rest of my armour, which you can see here, and I was doing pretty well on day 2, which was amazing. So I then explored the rest of the cave and found some iron and some gold, which was amazing, and then I eventually found diamonds, which was great, and only on day 3, so this was amazing. I knew I was progressing really quickly, so I grabbed them real quick. So with a great start, I headed out and continued looking for even more diamonds, which I found. However, this was only a 1 vein, so it wasn't that great. I also found a mine shaft, but I didn't even bother checking it. I headed up back to the surface before it became night again and looked for an area to start building an area of safety. This took a while, so I'll just cut to where I found it. This area was great as it was flat and I could use it as an area to smelt any ores I got during my mining session. However, there wasn't enough land, so I quickly mined some out. I even created some land just to make sure I had enough land so I could begin building somewhat of a safe area. Yeah, well, this took a lot longer than I anticipated as, well, it takes a lot longer than I thought to mine out some mountain. Anyway, I slept, and on day 4 I continued mining out some land so I could make some good areas for like any future builds. I then began my first build, which I thought I'd build a nice little tent just for my first build. I thought nothing special, but you know, I'll start building a proper house later. So I then built this and I come across a wandering trader, which was great, but never mind because he had nothing good on him, so I just killed him for the leads. Then I finished building the tent. However, this became quite a long process as like the sheep was just not providing enough wool, so I decided to just finish everything else first. So I made the floor, put all my belongings inside, and made what I think looks horrible, if I'm being honest, path, but it was good enough for now, so I just slept for day 4. I began day 5 by making a diamond pickaxe as I wanted to begin making a mine because eventually I could go to the nether, so this is what I did on day 5. After finishing mining out a nice area for the mine, I thought it would be a good idea to put some stairs in just to finish it off and make it a bit better for when I come into this cave and go back out of it. I had to raise the roof by 1 because otherwise it just would mean I would bump my head on it every single time, and that's quite painful. It was then time to grab myself some obsidian, so I used my water bucket to make sure it was safe and began mining. I wanted a total of 14 pieces, which I eventually got, so I could make the nether portal, as you can see here, and then eventually I would make a enchantment table, however that will come later. I made a flint and steel so I could head straight into the nether on day 7. My spawn really wasn't great, but I was facing my first foe straight away, and it was quite difficult. That was the most overkill montage I've ever seen for a mob that didn't even hit me once, but it's fine. We'll go back as there was nothing really exciting and I didn't really have enough stuff to go any further. I went back, made a lot of shovels as I really wanted to clear out a lot of land for this area as I knew that it would be beneficial for the future when I wanted to build a house. This was time consuming as iron tools really are not the best. They break easily and they're just really slow to break, especially on stone. But I eventually got this done and filled it all in with dirt, which I got plenty of whilst mining out the mountain. So after that I made a new little area for cows as I knew this would be really important for later on, so this is what I did on the last bit of day 9, got them in there and then slept. On day 10 I bred all my animals so I could get some nice bread, which was the first piece of food since the start of this, as I was sick of melon. On day 10 I began making my house. I decided it'd probably be best to make an underground house to be safe, and they looked quite nice. I didn't really have an idea in mind, and it was quite a bad position for the staircase. It would mean I'd have to mine up more of the mountain, so I moved it back slightly. However, this wasn't too much of a problem. Next I want to make myself an axe, as my other one was running out, and decided to mine my oak logs, as these are very important, as they are much better than jungle wood in my opinion. And then made myself some slabs, as I could be making some decoration for the entrance of my house. I had to begin planning out my area for the house, however this was quite time consuming, so I just went and slept for the day then. I then began planning out the area, which I had somewhat kind of idea by this point, and I had to mine a lot more of the mountain out though. This land is a lot more bumpy than I thought it originally was, so I just had to go and remove this mountain, which took a long time. Thankfully for you, I can speed up the footage, so I just skip past it. I then made some more pickaxes and removed all the stone from the mountain as well. I understand there's a lot of mining at the minute, but I just needed to get a good area for a start so I could eventually do some more bigger and better things. On day 11 at night I found a zombie villager, which was going to be really useful, and I wasn't really sure if this was possible, so I was just glad to find out that this was possible. However, he was causing some issues when I was trying to get him, so I just put him into my mine. I then slept for the remainder of day 12. On day 13 and 14 I knew it would be a good idea to just finish off my house, so then I knew I'd have a place to call home. This took what felt for like ever, because it's just really difficult, as I've previously mentioned, to mine out with iron pickaxes. However, I knew this would be much more beneficial, as it would mean I'd have a home. I then placed some stairs for the entrance, followed up by the walls. I thought it would be a good idea to use stone bricks, as they look really nice. I then headed to the nether, as I needed some glowstone for lighting, as I thought this would look great with a house, so that's what I did. However, firstly I took some time to get some achievements. I took Take Aim and a nice one, which was Return to Sender, which was great. As you can tell, I was pretty happy for some reason. I then got glowstone on day 14, made some glowstone and headed back. I then finished making the walls for the entrance, as obviously this is really important, and placed in my glowstone. This house was really coming together, and I thought it would be nice to just make the entrance look as good as possible before working on the main project, which would be the first room. I did this straight after though, so I placed some slabs and then went to grab some oak logs to finish off the flooring. And then it was time to do the walls, which I didn't really have much of an idea for, so it was just off the dome here. It ended up looking pretty nice, so I'm glad with what I went for. I then did the remainder of the walls. This was looking pretty nice by this point, and then I did the roof just to make sure no mobs could come in. And this was actually looking really nice, so I began making my second room, which would be where the enchantment table would be held. And this was quite time consuming, but it was definitely worth it. this room actually looked pretty nice, and on day 18 I made a big mistake as I lured a creeper right into my tent, and that was that. Thankfully I managed to scavenge all my items though, and ended up using this as a great time to put all my new items in my chest in the new house. I made a small area for my bed and just my own belongings really, and then did some more decorations around the house. I then had to fill in an area with dirt, as I thought this would be a great time to make a nice wheat farm. This wheat farm would mean I wouldn't have to keep eating melons all the time, which I was getting pretty infuriated by at this point. I then spent day 20 just going around and just strip mining, as I thought I could try and get some nice ores. But this really wasn't the best mining mission. I found no diamonds at all. I only found some iron and some gold. I also ran out of torches, so I just thought I'd head back and go to sleep. Here I'm about to show you a prime example of why I do not play hardcore Minecraft, as I went to the Nether and decided to try and be fancy and just jumped into lava. It was inevitable I was going to die eventually, and melons really weren't helping because it didn't heal me any health at all. Headed back, got my stuff and looked for a Nether fortress, which really didn't take that long, and there was one really close by, so I built up to this straight after. And once again, looking swag as normal and dancing. I then explored this Nether fortress and I was a little confused. I couldn't really find anything. However, I had to go and grab some food, which you can see here, and I was just scavenging for some mushrooms to make some mushroom stew. I built myself a little area so I could just heal up a bit before I took on anything in the Nether fortress. I thought I'd take a minute to tell you that this Nether fortress was awful as well. There was no area where I could get any loot or anything, so I just went and killed some blazes. If you don't know, blazes are good as you need these for blaze rods, and I nearly died again here, but thankfully, because I'm a pro gamer, I managed to get back in. However, I'm not good enough because I just went and died again to another blaze. And that was my second death, 2 days in a row. I headed back to Nether Fortress, grabbed my stuff, and thought that would be enough, as there was now 3 hoglins chasing me, and I was just sick and tired of the Nether by this point. I then went back and I'm impatient, so I just hurried up my wheat farm by putting some bone meal in there, and realised I had nowhere near enough, so I just went and got some bone blocks. This wasn't too hard as there was just some bone blocks nearby, and I just grabbed a lot of them. I then headed back straight after, as that's all I needed from the Nether. And I realised how good bone blocks really are for bone meal, and that gave me over 2 stacks of it, so I just gone and grabbed myself a load of it. I then made myself a brewing stand and put it next to my bed and stuff, and put some blaze powder just so I could power it for any time I needed to use it. After making glass bottles, I went out to grab some sugarcane, as this would be useful because I needed to get fermented spider eye, which includes sugar. I also realised at this point that I had no gunpowder, which meant I couldn't make a splash potion. So I made the golden apple and waited for night time after getting some mushrooms just so I could get spider eye and some gunpowder. After failing a couple times, I eventually got some gunpowder and headed back and made these potions. I somehow forgot how to make a fermented spider eye and was fiddling around in my inventory for a while. I then put this in, made some winter's potions and turned it into a splash potion. I then turned in Gerald into a normal villager. Why is his name Gerald? I don't know, but he is now. I then gave some time to think about things and then made myself new tools. I then went strip mining yet again, however I got a bit more lucky this time as I found some diamonds. I was really lacking diamonds and we was about halfway through at this point, so it was really great to find a lot of diamonds. Now, can I just point out that this mining mission really took a long time and this happened. I was just exploring a mine shaft and wanted to get rid of the old spider spawner, not realising that this would be my fate, as behind me was a creeper obviously, so I died with all my belongings and died a couple more times. Oh yep, there is another one, and I was getting really annoyed. I then got back just to realise that all my stuff was despawned and had to start all over again. I luckily found some more diamonds straight after and I was pretty happy. I was getting a lot more lucky with diamonds and a lot more lucky with the veins of them as well, as I found a total of 16 in just 2 veins. I then went and found even more, this time in a cave rather than strip mining, and I thought this would be a great time to just head back and smelt everything I got. I then made myself almost full diamond armour, just not boots, as I didn't have enough. And just another little swag check, yep, still looking swag. Then made myself an anvil and plonked that down next to the brewing stand. I wanted to make the third room, this time would be for the villagers and, well, future villagers, because I have only got one at the minute. This room took a long time, so let's just cut to it.
Eventually.
Wow, just look at this room. Shaders do help to make things look better, but I was still proud of this room as it looked pretty nice. Now you're probably wondering why this took so long, probably because I had iron tools and I also managed to get a lot more stuff done, as I had quite a lot of cows by this point, and then went out to fetch some more sugarcane, this time to make some paper and eventually some lecterns. I honestly can't even remember why I grabbed more obsidian, but I did. I'm sure we'll find out later. I then put a poppy in the flower pot that I had next to my bed and it made it look very nice. I then moved my villager into his new home on day 29. I eventually got him in and he looked pretty happy with his new home. I would probably be happy as well if I was just stuck in a boat for about 4 days. I thought pumpkins were quite rare, so I just grabbed them on the way back. I also killed some more wandering traders because I wanted the leads. I then headed back and slept on day 30. Day 31 to 33 I spent exploring. This would turn out to be another one of my deaths, as I ended up getting lost and didn't know my way back by this point, as I searched for about 1,000 blocks, so I just jumped off this. Thankfully I had quite a lot of iron left over, so I just made myself some new tools and armour. I then killed my first enderman, but no luck with the ender pearls. I then got a boat and got the enderman in there, and I was stuck on half a heart, so thank God he was in there, because otherwise I would have died. I then laughed in his face and killed him, and once again got no luck as I got no ender pearl. Day 34 and day 35 I went out exploring yet again and found a lot of sugarcane. I saved your time by just cutting to it and placed it all down near my house. I also used a little of it to make some paper, as I wanted to get some books. This would be for some bookshelves, as you could probably tell. And would be used for my enchantment table that I placed down, that I realised I placed in the wrong position. I then went and traded with some piglins for the first time, and they gave me a... Oh wait, no, they gave me nothing. Yep, so that was pointless. Well, they gave me some leather, I guess, but that was nothing special. I then made some books and made even more bookshelves. I was getting close to maxing out my enchantment table by this point, and it was, I think, around 16 levels. I also managed to find another zombie villager, which just somehow got into the boat, so thank God that happened. So I grabbed some gold real quick, smelted that, made a golden apple, and used the leftover weakness potion I had just to turn him back. On day 35, I moved him into his new home, just made a lectern, however I was never going to use this for him as I'm an idiot, and killed him. You know, they're not easy to come by, and I just killed him. Yep, annoyed again. I then made my other villager into a mending villager, which I was happy about, so at least something good happened on this day. I then locked the trades in and got the new achievement, What a Deal. On day 36, I made a nice little barrier for around my base, as this would make me feel a lot more secure, and used some wood to make some fence gates, which you'll see in a second. There's all the cobblestone walls down. I bred my cows some more as I killed most of them, and then made some fence gates as I previously mentioned. I then plonked these down everywhere just to make sure I had plenty of exits out of this place. I went and grabbed some coal for some torches and eventually lanterns, as I wanted to use that as a way to light up my area so no mobs would spawn. I didn't have that many lanterns as I didn't really have a lot of iron, so I just used what I had to place around. I then found yet another zombie villager, thankfully, so this meant I could put him in a boat. This time I wouldn't actually kill him, and used my last weakness potion after sleeping. However, I yet again had no gold, so I had to go and mine some more, but I'll save your time and just cut to where I made a golden apple. I then tried to make this path look better, but I was just trying to fight a lost cause at that point. I made some more paper so I could get some more emeralds, which I was slowly working on, and then eventually my villager turned back, so I moved him into his new home with his new mate, and I decided I wanted to make a blacksmith, I think they are. I don't even know at this point, and oh no, he's an armourer, and it would actually be useful for the future, even though I didn't actually use him too much. On day 37 I went strip mining and found even more diamonds, so this was great as I was getting close to getting that full set of diamond armour, which I eventually got when I got back, and I was looking swag yet again. I thought I'd enchant this with some okay enchants, however I'd later change these. Yep, once again looking swag. I then changed these boots for a nice feather falling free boots, which I would need some levels for, so off I went to grab some quartz. After getting the quartz, I headed back as I had 12 levels, and these were some pretty good boots. I then traded with some more piglins and actually got a fire resistance potion this time, which I used to go and kill some blazers. I then headed back as my fire resistance potion ran out, but I was an idiot and nearly killed myself with my brand new armour on. Thankfully I actually had some good food at this point and the gas really didn't help, but I managed to survive just about. As you can see, fire really does take a long time to burn out when you jump in lava. I should have expected that though. I then headed back, and it was after heading back I then slept for the remainder of day 39. I I was slowly getting a lot of bookshelves and could now get level 18 enchants, which would allow me to get protection 3 for my chest plate. So I grabbed even more levels from the nether and got that prot 3. So mine was looking pretty good now. I then, as I said before this video started, I wanted to get a netherite ingot, so I headed down and made a little area so I could blow up some beds. If you didn't know, I had to go down really low because that's where netherite or ancient debris spawns. After getting even more levels, I headed back and got a better helmet. I actually got Aqua Infinity, which is really good at this stage, so I used that, and I then sheared my sheep so I can make some beds to blow them up in the nether. I could only make 4 at this point, but I eventually made some more, as you can see here. It wasn't too many, but I was hoping it would be enough, so I just headed down and hoped for the best. I got pretty lucky as I found 2 ancient debris straight away after 3 beds, and that was the hidden in the depths achievement. I continued blowing up beds, and I, believe it or not, found 2 more, which meant I could get a full netherite ingot. I had a remaining bed left over, so I just blew them up and found yet another piece. I promise you I'm not cheating, I'm just really good at this game. I headed back after this so I could make my netherite ingot and was going to put it on my pickaxe, so I thought that would be the most useful thing to put it on. I had to get some gold, and there's a netherite ingot. Check in to see if I'm swag yet again, and I was, and made that netherite pickaxe. I then used it to go and get some more diamonds as I needed them, because why wouldn't you need them? No, but seriously, I needed them for some tools, so I made some tools. Even a shovel. I then enchanted this with the best enchants I could, which in this case wasn't great, but it was something. I got efficiency 3 on my netherite pickaxe, which wasn't too bad, and then eventually got myself a pretty decent sword. With sharpness 2, I then got an efficiency 3 shovel and unbreaking, thank god. I then got another diamond sword as I wanted to get a better sword, so I got another sharpness 2 and got a little add-on of knockback and put these 2 together, which gave me a pretty decent sword. So I took that and made another bookshelf, so I could allow me to get level 22 enchants. I then got my 3rd villager, which I didn't even know about until now because they somehow bred, and began making him into an infinity villager because I had no arrows. This is sped up at 60 times and took very long time. By the way, if you're enjoying this video, don't forget to subscribe and like. There's the infinity villager, which I was pretty shocked about as this took a long time. I had to waste pretty much all my emeralds on getting a bookshelf though to make sure I could lock the trades in. If you didn't know, if you don't lock trades in, then the villager will lose its trades. So I then headed back to the nether and somehow crossed another nether fortress, which was decent as I needed some nether wart, as this would allow me to get some potions for the end as we was getting close to that battle that I wanted, and then got knocked off by a stupid skeleton, reminding me of why I hate them so much. I somehow pulled through again, believe it or not. Thank god I had some good food and armour at this point, otherwise I probably would have been screwed. After getting up to some land, I ate some more steak and it was not too bad in the end. I then went back and made some strength potions and then turned them into 8-minute potions and made some golden apples for the end fight, as this would be pretty dangerous. I then heard a lot of zombie noises whilst I was mining for coal for some emeralds with my armourer, and found a zombie spawner, which was great, but I only had 2 cat discs in it, so I could listen to cat twice. After finding whatever biome this is called, I got myself some endermen to get some ender pearls, as I was going to need these to travel to the end. There was quite a lot somehow, so I just killed them all real quickly. And got a decent amount of ender pearls, to be fair. I got a total of 17 ender pearls, but I only made 16 Eye of Ender, as I thought this would be what I needed. And let's save your time.
Eventually.
I eventually found the stronghold, which I was looking for quite a while. And it required me to go into this lake, of course, because that's just my luck. So I headed down, and this was possibly the weirdest stronghold I've ever seen, because it was just in the middle of a ravine. Headed down and went into the library to get some books, as I would need these to max out my enchantment table back at home. But obviously that will be a while away yet, as I needed to go and kill the Ender Dragon. I mined my way in straight into the portal room, which didn't take long. Mined the spawner because I hate silverfish, as you should, and put the Eyes of Ender in. And here I was, day 48, the end was upon me, and so was the Ender Dragon fight. I then quickly piled up with some blocks just to get up there, and it was time to face the Ender Dragon. This would be one of the hardest fights I got into yet, and I knew I would have to beat this Ender Dragon on the first try, as I would lose all my stuff if I didn't. I began by taking down the end crystals. This was really useful, as it would mean the Ender Dragon would no longer be able to regenerate his health, and then eventually managed to get into the Ender Dragon and started taking some good health off him. I was getting the Ender Dragon really low, and she kept perching, which was really useful. I was really nervous, but I knew if I just kept getting in there and getting some good hits on it, then it would be alright, as I got her down to half health. By this point she was down to quarter health. I kept shooting bow shot after bow shot, and with the Enderman already angry at her, just as much as I was, she eventually perched and I got my final hits off her. I then headed in to kill the Ender Dragon, but this was the final perch and I knew I had to be quick here, as she was really not happy. I tried to use an Ender Pearl and every other thing I could use to try and get in there, but it was really difficult. However, this didn't really matter too much, as she only had a tiny bit of her health left, so I just got in there for the final hits. And I did it. I freed the end. I killed the Ender Dragon on day 48, and I was really happy with myself. I then had a big celebration before I went in and grabbed the egg and got some levels. I also looked at the End City Gateway, which would be really useful, as I could get the Elytra from there, but I headed in just to get the levels at first. And after doing that, I grabbed the egg and completed the achievement, the next generation. After doing this, I still had some time left, so I thought I'd head to the End City. I knew if I could find an End City really quickly, I could get myself an Elytra. However, it took me to around day 49 to find one. Thankfully, this one had a ship, so it meant I could just get an Elytra straight away. I tried to kill some shulkers, but I wasn't too fast, as this was only on day 49, and I could always return if I wanted to get some more. They are really, really annoying, and it made it much harder to navigate this entire End City. So I just ender pearled quickly over to the ship. And I had to face my final enemy, which was this shulker that was in the way. However, he teleported away fairly quickly. And I found quite a lot of diamonds, which I was surprised about, and a sharpness 3 diamond sword, which I could make a sharpness 4 sword with, and then got the achievement Sky's the Limit and the Elytra. Last thing I got was the dragon head, and it was time to head back home. I used my Elytra to fly around to find another gateway, which would allow me to go back home. I spent a long time searching, but I eventually got through, and I was back in the normal end, and soon enough, back to my home. And well, that's the end of the 50 days. If you enjoyed and you want to see more, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz. And I will see you in the next video.